Education is a power. It's the biggest protective factor that we can give children and young people, particularly those that have been affected by trauma of all kinds. So that's kind of the mission, to really give as many children and young people access to learning. Trauma responsive education offers training, support and consultancy to schools and to staff in schools to help them deal with perhaps those pupils and students that they are finding particularly difficult or challenging or vulnerable. They're the kind of pupils that make us feel like we don't quite know what to do sometimes. Sometimes we feel helpless in the face of the problems.
When I was 9 years old, I was almost killed by a drunk motorcyclist. My dad is a first aider and he saved my life, but he also had to tend to the motorcyclist who had hit me. I have memories of my mother taking her clothes off to stem the bleeding. My sisters were 13, 7 and 3 at the time, so they have memories of me being thrown around the road like a rag doll. So it was a pretty big trauma for the whole family. But I guess for me, school was a safe space. There were no roads, there were no motorcyclists, there was no revving engines. But for some children, you know, it's maybe the people that aren't safe, and it's the relationships that feel dangerous. And there are so many of those children sitting in our classrooms every day.
I myself was a teacher. I spent most of my career working with children and young people who were considered at risk of exclusion or were vulnerable. And through that, I became very interested in what were the social, emotional and other factors that impeded learning or prevented some young people from engaging in education. I then retrained as an educational psychotherapist, which looks at the social and emotional blocks to learning and how we can support those young people. But I think then I learned a lot of stuff that I thought actually everyone in school should understand, because if we could understand that, we could actually engage more young people in learning.
We provide training and support to teaching staff and schools around trauma, how to recognise the signs of trauma in the classroom and the impact that it has on learning and behaviour.
We offer a range of services. We don't like to do one-off hit and run trainings, although we do Croke Park training. We offer membership packages where we work in a wraparound way with the school to try and embed some of these ideas. We also have a series of webinars. We are offering supervision to staff, because actually when you work with very traumatised children or young people that have these kind of issues, the impact on yourself can be severe. Without even realising it, and particularly as we're all living through the pandemic at the moment, we also really want to support the adults to understand the impact of their work on themselves.
In the near future, we would love to get more schools on board. The more teaching staff we can reach, the more children we can reach.
We really want to connect up with organisations and people that want to collaborate with us, with perhaps potential funding bids or, you know, maybe conferences or activities we could run together.
Another thing that we're really trying to do at the moment is to get core funding for this so that schools and teaching staff don't have to pay for this themselves. One way you can support us is you can help us to raise awareness. You can follow us on any of our social media channels.
If people have any ways of supporting us with funding or have any contacts with organisations or city councils or corporate organisations perhaps that want to have used their social responsibility to do something good and to affect children and young people, these are all ways people can maybe support us, because, you know, we know it's hard sometimes for schools to find the money for this.
You can find out more about trauma responsive education on our website, www.trauma-ed.com. We're also quite active on various social media platforms, so you'll also find us there.